Good morning, everyone, or good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for being here. It's me, Ari Dosset, Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Again, hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel, and don't forget, donate the links below. Thank you very much. If you wish to contribute to the fund of my PhD, write PhD with your donation. Thank you very much. And you can check my novels and other books on Amazon too. Thank you. Okay. If you're in traffic, just listen to the live then. Don't participate in the live chat. No traffic accidents under my watch, please. Thank you. Can those who are here confirm if they can hear me clearly, please? If not, I can adjust the sound settings right away. For those that are here, can you confirm if you can hear me clearly, please? Thank you very much. This is not going to be a long live, I hope, but I want to explain the following to you. Secrecy is part of life because the simple fact is not everyone can be trusted with all information. First of all, a human being cannot even process all information out there. No creature can. No angelic being and no human can process all information. Only one who has all information all the time is the Heavenly Father, who's omniscient, who knows everything. We as creatures, we don't know everything. We have to do research. But this thing with us, we have to process information that comes in. The Heavenly Father knows everything already. Thanks for the super chat, Inter alia. Thank you. We need to process information. But because we have to be raised, because we have our perception based on our circumstances, we often do not see things as they are. Now, you can see things as they are if you learn to put your own personal biases aside, but a lot of human beings have a hard time doing that. So information can be misinterpreted, and people get the wrong impression. So information is information. For example, how often go to the supermarket, your bank data, your Facebook passwords, or your medical records, or criminal record if you have one. Information is information. Information is something that happened or something that's documented. Information can also be something that's going on right now. For example, you may have a disease at the moment. Truth being told, information is simply something that already happened or something that's ongoing. Information about the future hasn't happened yet. Look, you may plan to go on a vacation, let's say to Fiji or to Spain. But that is information, but it's information of something that's about to come. But it hasn't happened yet. What I'm saying is information about what happened or is ongoing is something that, is easier to find out. Information about something that's about to happen is a bit more difficult because it's not certain whether it's going to happen or not. So understand this. Information about something that's about to happen, it's not certain that it's going to happen because things can come in between. Now look, if you travel to China in your 20s during your college years, that already happened. Nobody can stop that because it's already happened. It's history. If you're about to start your new business a month from now, okay, that can be sabotaged or hindered because it's still unfolding. So when people have information, they now have the insight on what they can do about the situation. For example, Um, I remember back in the day when I was a teenager, there was this supermarket um, where the security cameras did not work, but most people were not aware of it. But the supermarket for a while had no functioning security cameras. Now, that means that if someone wanted to loot or rob the supermarket, they would they would be able to do it easily, but only uh, the people that worked there with a high rank were aware of it. Not even the common police were aware of it. Now, it did leak out that security cameras were not working. So that came out, it was a disaster. But that's what I mean. If burglars or robbers would have known that the security cameras at the supermarket were not working, that means they would be more inclined to break in. Why? Because there wouldn't be any CCTV footage to capture them. But because they were not aware of this, they assumed there may be security footage, let's not do it. Even though there was no security footage. So, sensitive information is information that can be used against you or against someone else. Common information is just well, someone's height, whether someone's a male or female, or what the weather is, how late the train departs. I mean, you have common information, you have sensitive information. Sensitive information can also be classified as state secrets or confidential information. I'm not going into all of that. I'm not a privacy officer or anything like that. In this live stream, I want you to understand the following. Secrecy is a part of life for the practical reason that not everyone can be trusted. Simple as that. However, for there to be trust and safety and sanity in a community, there must be some level of openness and transparency. People cannot function as complete strangers and everything goes well. Again, let me repeat this. People cannot function as complete strangers and everything goes well in the long run. No. Because as a human being, you are a vulnerable creature and we're extra vulnerable because our bodies are mortal. So, as vulnerable creatures, we require transparency. We require to know what we're dealing with. On a psychological level, we have the need to know what we're dealing with. Now, we cannot know everything that goes on around us because we're not God, but we should have an overall view of what we're dealing with. On an emotional level, it's going to be toxic if everything is concealed, if everything is secret. There, okay, 100% transparency is not a good idea in this lifetime. Again, because you have some people can't be trusted. You have no idea what they would do with information. On the other hand, just because you have people out there who can't be trusted does not mean that we have to develop a climate of paranoia in which everyone is losing their mind about what others know about them. Again, if you have nothing to hide, people can still use things against you. Let's say you are not involved in any wrongdoing nor evil doing at all. You're 100% clean. Even if you're 100% clean, people can make up things about you. For example, let's say you go to the supermarket every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And you think I have nothing to hide. I go to the supermarket. I'm not stealing nor robbing over there. I'm not harming anyone. And that's true. You have nothing to hide. You just go to the supermarket every Wednesday at 9 a.m. But what if someone is upset with you being at ease, and this unstable, demon possessed individual wants to disrupt your daily peace? Now someone can lie and say, oh, this guy sexually harassed me. Or it happened after he left the supermarket, or he did it at the supermarket. Now later people find out it's all a lie, but hold on a minute. The lie sounded believable because indeed it's your routine to be at a supermarket at 9 a.m. and Wednesdays. If someone would have said, "Oh, he sexually harassed me at the supermarket," and at that time when the so-called harassment happened, you were at work or you were out of town, it, the smear campaign wouldn't work. But because the individual knew something about you, now they could misuse that information to make something up about you. You follow me? So in this case, if you go to the supermarket every Wednesday at 9 a.m., nothing wrong with that. You're not doing anything wrong. You have nothing to hide. Just go to the supermarket. You can show your receipt. This is what I bought. But here's the thing. Someone can use that information to make up something about you. Oh, like he sexually harassed me at the supermarket, whatever, even though the individual's never even there. But because it's common knowledge you go to the supermarket every Wednesday at 9 a.m., people are more likely to believe it. So let's say now your wife is overworking from time to time. So from time to time, she overworks at work. And she's open about it. Then one day, someone lies and says your wife has an affair with someone at the work. Thing is, if she works from home most of the time, and someone lies about it that she's having an affair, guess what? It's unbelievable. Nobody's going to believe it. But if she's overworking often at the office, people may think, why is she working often? So now you have a window of opportunity to people may believe the lie. So what I'm saying is information, even if there's nothing incriminating about it, people can use that information to make up something about you. So people that say, oh, if you have nothing to hide, don't be afraid, everyone should be able to see everything about you, that's not smart. Because even if you have nothing to hide whatsoever, people can make up things to use against you. But the thing is, whether you're fully secretive or you're fully transparent, people can always make up things about you. So we shouldn't develop this climate of paranoia in which everyone is hyper vigilant of what others know about them. Absolutely not. So secrecy is part of life. But there's one condition with secrecy. It must be healthy. The moment secrecy becomes unhealthy, it has gone too far. Let me repeat that. The moment secrecy is not healthy anymore. And when is secrecy healthy? When you can justify it or when there's a good reason for it. If there's no good reason for the secrecy and there's no way you can justify this, then you're dealing with either blackmail or you're dealing with narcissistic manipulation. Now, manipulation in itself doesn't have to be wrong if it's done for the right reason. For example, a high school teacher may manipulate how he's giving his class just to motivate the students to learn. An exam is a form of manipulation. You ask people questions but withhold the answers. So manipulation itself doesn't have to be wrong. For example, if you have spices, vegetables, or meat, you manipulate them into a dish, whether it's pasta, lasagna, or you bake an apple pie. So manipulation is part of life. When you go to a party, you dress differently when you go to a job interview. All that's manipulation. So manipulation in itself is also part of life. But it's narcissistic manipulation. That's manipulation aimed at taking advantage of other people or bringing other people down. That is something that we need to look out for. And let me tell you, the moment secrecy cannot be justified and there's no good reason for it, you are most likely dealing with either blackmail or you're dealing with narcissistic manipulation. And let me tell you one thing, nothing under heaven can be hidden. Okay? You can conceal information that others don't find out about it at the moment, but eventually the consequences of whatever goes on will work out. For example, let's say now one day the police knocks on your door and you think, officers, what's going on? They have a search warrant. So, because they have a search warrant, they search through your house. Now you want to find out you want to find out what the search warrant is for, and they show you the document because someone tipped off the police that you have drugs in your house, or you may have illegal material on your computer. Someone tipped them off. Now, police found nothing. Okay, so they left. Now you want to find out who tipped them off, but though the privacy rules, police not allowed to say that to you. Why? Because if the police would tell you who made the report, you may want to go after that individual. So they tell you it's anonymous tip they have got. But you think to yourself, hold on a minute, so anyone can report something anonymously and you guys can go on and off on it. But okay, so in this case, they conceal who made the report. But guess what? Whoever made the report knew very well there was no illegal material in your house, nor any drugs. They just want to disrupt your daily life. They have issues against you. So sooner or later, that individual wants to hear about the police raid. Now it affected you. So sooner or later, that individual's behavior will expose themselves. And apart from that, if someone goes that far to lie to the police on you, wasting the police time, and disrupting your daily life, that means they have serious issues against you, and one way or the other, they will ventilate their unrest that they project onto you to other people. So they may have complained and murmured about you towards other people. Now, those other people may not know that they are the ones that made the police reports, but their murmuring, complaining about you continuously is them leaking out. So eventually, they may suggest, man, that guy may do illegal things in his house. They may leak out saying that. Now, they didn't intend to reveal that they made a false police report on you, but because of their unrest inside of them, they eventually leak out some information of what they've done, namely, gave a false police report. And then people that hear the leaking may tell you, or may go around. So what I'm saying is, you can conceal information on the earth, but you cannot hide things. That's not possible. Besides that, those with advanced psychic abilities can also remote viewing and figure things out eventually. So, why this live stream? I want you to be alert. I want you to be alert about this. When you're dealing with a human being, male or female, and this human being is completely secretive, nobody knows anything about this individual, and this individual always stays hyper superficial, I'm telling you, watch out with that individual. It's not healthy nor natural for a human being to be around other human beings to be completely closed off like that. In the modern day world, people say, well, they're just an introvert, or maybe they or people make up psychological disorders even to justify such behavior. And I tell you, it can't be justified. Just like it's not natural for a human being to go weeks without drinking water, without hydrating themselves, just like it's natural for a human being. So just like it's not natural nor possible for a human being to go weeks without sleeping, the same way it's not natural for a human being to be in a public or communal setting and to be totally sealed off from others. A lot of us are being deceived into thinking that, well, it's their right to be that way. It's privacy, it's their life, free will. boundaries, blah, blah, blah. Put that political garbage aside for a moment and look at reality. Human beings are designed by the Heavenly Father to be transparent and, and intimate. Why? Because we're built in a vulnerable way. Of course, you can only be intimate with people who are safe. If they're not safe, you should not be intimate, not fully transparent towards them. As already explained. Nevertheless, we are built to be transparent and intimate. We're not built to be in a hypervigilant mode. We're not designed like that. That's going to stress us out and cause mental disorders. Listen, a human being who has a secretive personality is a human being you cannot trust. Okay, let's say a woman ghosted her fiance. They're about to get married and she just ghosted the guy because she so-called lost interest. She didn't even break off the relationship in a peaceful, humane way. She just cut the guy off. For weeks, the guy was asking what goes on. Suddenly, the guy finds out she's with another guy, and the guy decides, you know what, I'm not going to confront her. Just let me just move on. That other guy she's with has no idea she just cut off her fiance. Because that other guy she's with now, if he would have known that she just cut off her fiance she's been with for over 3 or 4 years, he would think, well, hold on a minute, you've been with this guy for 3 or 4 years, and suddenly you cut him off like he never existed. And you never even told me about this guy's existence. So that, what the heck? So that, because if I knew that, I would think, what the heck is that? Why are you treating people like this? So in this case, this woman is secretive because her behavior is not only narcissistic, her behavior is unstable, and she knows very well nobody in their right mind would put up with such behavior. But because she doesn't want to own up and face her own bad behavior, she now is act like it never happened. Now, people like that who don't want to own up to their own failures, I'm not saying all of them will become like this, but eventually they will become violent, either physically violent or they will use emotional violence. And some of them will lose their mind when they can't hide, when they can't escape anymore. Some of them will escalate, and some of those escalations will even end up in homicide, murder. So secretive people or quote private people, you need to watch out with them. Think about it. Would you allow someone to come to your house and the individual wears a helmet, you can't see their face? Would you allow that? No. As a matter of fact, if you wear a helmet, let's say you ride a motorcycle and you're about to enter a supermarket. In the Netherlands, there are supermarkets where there's a rule you're not allowed to walk into the supermarket with your motorcycle helmet on. Now there are places where they do this. Someone just got out of a motorcycle and need to buy maybe need to buy some milk or buy some bread or something small and just hop into the supermarket, grab the stuff, pay for it, and leave. Now, some place you can do that, but in some supermarkets in Netherlands, if you walk in like that, security guard will tell you to take off your helmet or you have to leave the supermarket because it does only feel uncomfortable, but it's also a bit weird and suspicious. You don't want people to see who you are. You're there with them, but you're not allowed to see who you are. It's a bit weird. If someone knock on your door and you say they wear a mask, you clearly can't see their face, you won't open it. Similar thing, if someone calls you on your mobile phone, but they conceal their number, it's an unknown number calling you. Why are you calling someone but you don't want your number to be visible? Because if a number is visible, you can write it down and say, hey, this phone number called me, and then you can call them back. So if someone calls you and they conceal their phone number, it means they don't want you to call them back. Why are you calling someone but you don't want them to be able to call you back? This is a one-way street. Me, I do not pick up phone calls that are unknown with an unknown number. I don't do it. I don't do it. Why? Because it's a form of dishonor. You don't trust me to be able to contact you back because you don't want that. If you don't want me to contact you, why are you contacting me? So you want something from me, but you want nothing to do with me. I'm sorry, but you don't treat people like that. I'm telling you, if someone calls you with an unknown number, that says a lot about them and how they feel about you. But a lot of people are think it's normal that people call you with unknown number. Well, it's their privacy. It's no, no, no. Listen, if you're not willing to, if you're contacting me, you have to be open with who you are, what you want, and what I'm dealing with. Don't approach me and I have no idea what you are, who you are, and what I'm dealing with. If you don't want me to reach out to you, then anytime you call me with an unknown number, I'll give in to what you want by not picking up. Simple as that. That is secrecy that goes too far. Now I know that there are government organizations that call with concealed numbers. Now it may be their policy, but you have to question if it's the government calling you, why did they call with a concealed number? Or is she because if they call with a no number, a lot of people can call back. Now you can also listen. You can also uh, use a software in which a number is shown that they get a automatic response. Some companies do that. When their call center calls you, you see a number, but when you call back a number, you get a robot repeating towards you. But at least people know I can call back and they can identify who the individual is. Look, secrecy must have a good reason and it must be able to be justified. You have to be able to justify it, so there must be a good reason for it. If there's no good reason for it, you're dealing either with blackmail or narcissistic manipulation. And in the Western world, a lot of people are so used to be narcissistically manipulated that we don't even realize what is happening. Narcissistic manipulation is violence. Let me tell you, narcissistic manipulation is violence. And nobody should become comfortable violating you. Violence isn't just physical. Violence can also be how people view you and feel about you. Because how they feel and think about you will also affect the atmosphere towards you. They don't have to say negative or bad things towards you, or they don't have to physically attack you. If people dislike you or hate you, the climate they generate that alone will have a harmful effect on you. So violence begins on the inside. Violence begins with someone's attitude. Now, physical violence can be hindered by physical barriers or by weapons. But psychic violence cannot be hindered that easily. You actually have to be spiritually aware and alert to stop psychic violence or to counter it. Just understand when someone is too secretive towards you, they're violating you. Simple as that. If they're too secretive towards you, they're violating you. But because we were taught by our modern day quote unquote Western culture that people have a right to hide information about themselves, people have a right to be left alone. Because we believe such bullshit, we don't see it as a violation when people are too secretive towards us. But it is a violation because they would not tolerate the same from you. If you behave that way towards them, they would call you out. As a matter of fact, if you would behave that way towards the tax authorities or towards the government would start an investigation towards you. The police may even come after you. If you travel to another country and you have to go to security at the airport and you wait to secretive, they may say you can't board the aircraft, or they may arrest you, or they may deport you from the country. So how come airports and the government have common sense enough to get rid of people that are way too secretive, but us in our daily lives just allow that to happen over and over again? Again, I'm not advocating people to be controlling towards others. I'm not advocating that at all. What I'm advocating is balance in human relationships. There must be mutual vulnerability and mutual transparency. It can't only be that you are the one that needs to answer questions all the time, and they're the ones only asking questions, because that's interrogation. And the interrogation only happens when you're arrested, either by the military or by the police. And even then, at some point, the interrogators, by law, have to explain why you are arrested and why they're asking the questions. Because if a police officer interrogates you, but there's no legal basis for him doing so, he's in trouble in a court of law. So even when it comes to interrogations by the police or by the military, they have to account at some point why they're doing it. So even on their part, they must be transparent at some point, or else they're going to be in trouble. So how come now in daily life, too many of us allow this one-way street, this one-way traffic? Balance in human relationships. If there is no balance in human relationships, that means you have dysfunction and disharmony. Now look, a 5-year-old and a 25-year-old, the the balance between those two is quite different than between a balance between two adults. Look, if you're a father and you have a 5-year-old son, the only balance that's possible is that your child completely trusts you and listens to you. And on your part, you have to be able to explain your behavior to your child. That's the only balance can be. An equal balance between you and your 5-year-old cannot happen because it's a 5-year-old. Now, if your son is 15 years old, about to turn 16, there can be more of an equal balance because now you have two human beings who are able to negotiate with one another. You cannot negotiate with a 5-year-old. Well, some parents do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Because at that age, you don't even have the capacity to process things. So how the heck are you going to negotiate with someone who cannot process things? But anyway, a balance, a balance between a 60-year-old and a 20-year-old should be equal because they're both adults. So there are times there's an unequal balance, and it has to do with the fact someone's either too young to be in an equal balance or someone is not mentally able. Let's say you have a mental health patient in a mental health hospital. Can there be equal balance over there? No. Because that individual can't even think clearly. That's why they're a patient over there. Or what if someone is not a mental health patient, but someone is simply mentally ill? Can there be equal balance over there? Well, if you have two mentally ill people, there can be no balance whatsoever. Or if you have a healthy individual and a mentally ill individual, there cannot be any equal balance either. So you have to have an unequal balance. But anyway, balance should be there in human relationships. If there's no balance in human relationships, if balance is not there, that means you end up with dysfunction and there will be disharmony. And that is what we don't need, disharmony. Now, when is someone too secretive towards you? It depends on the context. A medical doctor has to be secretive about his patients. So let's say your mom went to the local medical doctor and you guided your mom. Unless by law you're authorized into the medical file of your mom, the medical doctor will not tell you anything. And you need to honor that because that's how you keep medical records safe. Because it would be a dangerous situation if everyone could access your medical files. Absolutely. If someone is if someone is your employer, the balance will be different between you and a fellow employee. So thing is, a medical doctor will be quite secretive, which is required. You can justify it. Your employer may be secretive about his financial plans for the company, for his business. However, at some point, he needs to inform you if his plan is going to affect you. Let's say he wants to shrink his staff. That means some of you have to be fired. So he needs to be transparent about it. You can't just fire you guys on one day and just like that. So how secretive is too secretive? It depends on the situation and the context you're in. Just know one thing. If you get warning symptoms in your body that a social interaction is off, you may not feel like it's dangerous, you may not feel threatened, but you feel just that the communication or the interaction is off. Anytime you feel in your body that an interaction with another human being or with a group of human beings is off, that's a warning symptom that something is off. Either something's off with you because you have some paranoia in you or some anxiety that needs to be dealt with. Okay, so then it's you something's off with, and because you're part of the interaction or part of the situation, that's why the thing that's off is you. Or it can be something's off with someone else over there. In any case, the moment you get the warning symptom in your body that something's off with an interaction or with a situation, something is off. Too many of us, we brush off warning symptoms from our intuition. And you really need to stop doing that. All right? So again, how secretive is too secretive? Pay attention to your intuition. That's something people in the West really need to learn how to do. Pay attention to your intuition. If it feels off, something is off. If something's off with you, or something's off with the other individual or the group of people, something's off somewhere. Or it can be that the situation doesn't add up. Secondly, if you notice that an individual often suspects wrongdoing on your part without offering any evidence why they are suggesting that, I'm sorry. Most likely, that individual that keeps suggesting wrongdoing on your part, they're projecting blame onto you because they're the ones who have something to hide. Listen, if someone has convincing evidence of wrongdoing on your part, they should show the evidence and stand on their case. But if someone just suggests some wrongdoing on your part, but there's no convincing evidence there, either they're paranoid, so they're out of their mind, or they're the ones who have something to hide, and they're just projecting this blame onto you. So when someone is often suspecting wrongdoing, or they suspect failure on your part, listen, they are accursing you. They are accursing you, let me tell you. When someone suggests wrongdoing on your part without any convincing evidence, they are accursing you. If someone suggests failure on your part, they always assume you're about to fail. They are cursing you. So watch out with that too. Because it's something they're hiding, and they cover up what they're hiding by putting a negative focus on you. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. Look, it's fine if people conceal information from you, if they have a good reason for it. But if there's no good reason for it, especially if the information hiding from you would affect you, they should let you know. If there's something that they're hiding, and there's something would is something that's affecting you or would affect you, they should be open to it one way or the other. If they're not, that means they're neglecting you. Simple as that. Look, a tourist on the beach having an affair, and uh, I'm just someone, passing by. I don't know the tourist doesn't know me. So that he has an affair is not a good thing, but it will not affect me that quickly because I'm not involved with the individual at all. We're just strangers. But what if it's a colleague from work who's cheating on his wife? If this comes out, it will also be an embarrassment for the workplace because people say, if this guy's been cheating for so long, how come nobody knows anything? Does it does his colleagues know about it? Are the colleagues involved in covering it up? In that case, he shouldn't have the affair to begin with. He should just work on his marriage or end the marriage. But by him cheating like that, everyone associated with him will also be damaged when his reputation goes down. So him, instead of working on his marriage or ending the marriage, he just cheats. His toxic behavior will affect everyone who's involved with because when his reputation goes down, everyone associated with him will also suffer reputation loss. So there's some stranger on a beach, a tourist, is hiding information. It does not affect me that much. Okay? If what they're hiding is wrong, it is still wrong, but it doesn't affect you that much. So them hiding it from you, hey, they don't even know you exist. So there's no direct violation towards you over there, unless they are aware that there's some criminal group going around harming people. In that case, they do owe strangers something to reveal that one way or the other, either reveal it anonymously or reveal it openly. Why? Because a criminal group going around harming people, even if that individual is not involved with you, you're just a stranger, they should at least reveal it to the public. That's different. But if someone is not directly involved with you and they're hiding something, it doesn't violate you directly, unless what they're hiding is of public concern. But if someone is involved with you, whether they're just someone you see at work from time to time, or they're a relative, or someone that attend the same school as you, whatever, if someone is directly linked to you and they're involved in shady stuff, they're they're harming you too because if that shady stuff of theirs comes out, you'll be affected too. So let's normalize considering what we do, how it will affect other people. If what you're doing would one way or the other harm others around you, if it came out, don't do it. I'm not talking about you researching things in an anonymous way. If you go, if you if you go undercover in an anonymous way, online or whatever, to do your research, that's different. Just realize that the way you conduct your research must be accounted for also at some point. So don't put yourself at risk going undercover on the dark web, for example. Now you have all these weird criminals coming after you. No. So you're doing anonymous research, that's perfectly fine. I encourage that. Just watch out how you do it. Let's normalize considering how our behavior will affect other people, whether it's people we're involved with now or people we'll meet in the future. Because if you're involved in something shady right now, that shady thing will haunt you in the future. It will echo into the future. And if people later found out, if people in the future, let's say people you meet in the future find out if you're doing this in the past, it will affect them too if though it already happened. So let's normalize considering how what we do behind closed doors affects other people, both people we're involved with now as people in the future. And again, I do not recommend nor advocate you being full transparent with people that are not the same towards you. There must be balance. And don't be too transparent too quickly unless you have credible evidence that someone can be trusted. All right? Don't go out there distrusting everyone because that's paranoia. Don't do that. And if you have paranoia, you need help. You're not doing well. Get the help you need. Get the therapy or counseling you need. Just be transparent enough that nobody can use it against you. If you are too secretive, it can be used against you. But if you're transparent enough, I'm not telling you to be 100% transparent. That's not smart. Just be transparent enough so nobody can use anything against you. Don't give people an excuse to turn on you. Don't give people an excuse to set you up. All right? Are there any questions about this topic? Please let me know in the live chat now. Please let me know. Oh, and by the way, let me give another parable, another example. Let's say now that I'm drinking I'm drinking coffee at a coffee shop. Okay? An actual coffee shop. I mean, in the Netherlands, when you say coffee shop, uh, people think you refer to a place to buy weed. But I'm talking about an actual coffee shop. Let's say I'm at a coffee shop drinking some coffee, and there are two women walking in, and they are complaining about another woman in her absence. Murmur complaining about her, saying, I can't stand what she thinks she is, blah, blah, blah. And then later, the woman that we murmur complaining about, she walks into the coffee shops too. And when she walks in, those two women just act like they're besties, best friends. Now, that woman just walked in. She may not notice the toxic climate. But the thing is, I've been there drinking my coffee and I've witnessed a conversation about her that she's not aware of. So I know, I as a stranger and outsider, I know that those two women are not her friends. They're frenemies. She doesn't know that yet. Now, what should I do then? I should pray, decree, and declare for the safety of the woman uh, that's being dumped upon. That's one thing. But the thing is, I know some things she doesn't. So let's say now this woman who just walked in, suddenly those two other women leave shortly afterwards, and she's there drinking her coffee. For me, to just approach and say, ma'am, those other women you were with, I wouldn't trust them because we didn't talk about you behind your back. For me to do that would be a way too overwhelming, and it can even be perceived as creepy. So just inform someone like that wouldn't be a good idea. What I can do is try to have small talk with her and suggest onto her in the small talk to watch out the people I trust. In that case, I did not openly tell her, hey, those two women over you think are your friends are not your friends because they've been bitching about you before you came. So instead of openly telling her that and shocking her, I'm hinting to her through small talk. We can talk about the weather, we can talk about politics, and then I can do the suggestion, you know what, watch out with certain people. And let me tell you, some people out there, they will warn you in such a way. Some people out there, they will warn you through suggestion about things they're aware of. Because again, if I'm in a coffee shop drinking my coffee, and there are two other women over there bitching complaining about another woman, and the third woman they're bitching complaining about comes in, and they act like they're besties, I know it's a bad situation. But for me to just intervene, it may even escalate the situation even further, putting myself at risk too. So if the first two women leave and the third one, the victim, comes in, I can attempt to make small talk with her, and in a small talk briefly hint towards her to watch out in general for people, for certain people. She may think, why is the guy saying that? I just met him. But you know what? That's how sometimes strangers even warn you. You follow me? So pay attention to strangers. Now, not all strangers. You also have demon possessed maniacs out there who are used by demons to cause doubt into you. You hear me? Because maybe you have good relationships with your friends, and some demon possessed individual wants to cause discord just so that there's disharmony for the demons to feed off. So don't listen to every stranger. But sometimes you have to pay attention what strangers are telling you. Because a stranger who's an outsider can see things more clear than you do. Now, not every stranger has the courage to approach you and to hint things towards you. Because, let's be real. For you to approach a stranger with something you've noticed and there's no relationship between two of you, it can be a bit awkward. But there are people who at least make an attempt to warn you. If they do, appreciate that. Okay? Now, get it straight. A stranger can notice something about situation and be alarmed by it, and they can make effort to warn you or hint towards you to turn your direction. Now listen to me. The Heavenly Father, God Himself, He knows everything and everyone. Okay? There has been there were meetings and conversations about you that you're not aware of. There were people murmuring, complaining about you behind your back. There were people willing to go to the police and make false police reports about you. There were people considering offloading physical violence onto you. There were a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes concerning you that you're not aware of, but God is. And there were also people aware of these things, but they never even warned you. They never even hinted towards you anything. Well, let me tell you one thing. If people notice danger developing against you in the background, and they are able to hint towards you or to warn you in an indirect way, they don't have to tell you immediately what goes on, but they can hint towards you that something's off. If those people don't have the human decency to even warn you, not even indirectly, that means they're cowards who are enabling harm to happen to you. And you can't have people like that around you. You can't afford to have people like that around you. Absolutely not. So sometimes the Heavenly Father, God Himself, will block people from you. You maybe wake up one day and suddenly notice a few people blocked you on social media, or can be you message someone and they never respond back, and you think to yourself, what happened? Sometimes those people ghost you, or sometimes they just disappear, or they just lower all content. And you think, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And sometimes you make effort to get in contact with them to find answers because you wonder what goes on. Why are you avoiding me out of the blue? Or why did you ghost me like that? You want answers. But guess what? You can never reach those people. And if you do reach them, they can't talk to you for long. They walk away. What happens? There are times it's the Heavenly Father blocking them from you. God kicked them out of your life because God has seen that they are cowards who will allow and let bad things happen to you because they're not willing to stand up for safety. Now, they don't have to jump into the situation and get involved directly, but they can at least give you a hint in a vague way that something is happening, enough for you to realize something's off. The fact they don't do that, they just talk to you like nothing goes on, means that they're part of the violence. Even though they're not the perpetrators, because they are cowards, they are allowing the violence to continue against you. They themselves have no ill will nor bad intention towards you, but they do let bad intention from others work out against you. So they allow you to be harmed. And they act like you don't know anything. People like that, you have to lose them as soon as possible. So listen, when the Heavenly Father blocks people from you, hey, there's no way for you to unblock that. Let them go. Let them go. I'm telling you. A stranger out there can have, if a stranger out there can have the decency to at least interrupt your daily life and to hint towards you something's off, then the Heavenly Father, when He blocks people from you, He knows exactly why He did it. And don't worry, later on, the Heavenly Father will reveal unto you exactly why He blocked them from you. You'll find out. You may not find out right now, but when the time is ripe, the Heavenly Father will show you why He blocked them from you. All right? You don't have to know everything because it's not even possible for you to know everything and process everything. You just need to trust the Father who does know everything. You will never know everything and you can't handle processing everything. But Heavenly Father knows everything, so trust Him in your life. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Keep agreeing with Christ. The live stream ended up being an hour anyway, but I don't mind. Keep agreeing with Christ. And again, hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, comment the channel, donate the links below, check my novels and other books on Amazon, and I'll see you next time. Shalom.